Hey there, I'm Mike from CRM Coach. Today, I'm going to break down HubSpot versus Zoho CRM and the CRM Coach scorecard and give you some of my professional experience working with clients on both platforms over the years. By the end of this video, you'll know which platform will better fit your situation and specific priorities across 11 different areas. HubSpot got a score of 8.9, Zoho 8.3. They're both very powerful, and I'll give you my perspective on why they're scored the way they were and why some of these might matter more or less to your situation. These platforms are changing all the time. They're always updating and improving. Let's go through some of the updates. HubSpot last month released a ton of AI and team productivity enhancements. For example, they released lookalike lists, which use AI to help you find prospects similar to your best customers. And they have journey automation for creating personalized customer experiences. They also introduced dedicated workspaces. So the sales workspace is really good for helping reps focus on what is most important to get through their day, what are the most effective things they can do, and not be bothered by everything that's available within HubSpot. That's also been a big change. On the Zoho side, they also released a bunch of changes this quarter. Their AI is called Zia, and they've made a bunch of changes. I've had bad luck with getting HubSpot's AI to generate workflows that are useful, whereas Zia, I've had it create some pretty cool things on the first try. Zoho's recently improved its canvas so that you can customize your CRM interface, the record detail pages, and they've introduced some account-based marketing tools. Let's go through the core features. What I would say are the bread and butter CRM features of Zoho and HubSpot. We'll dive into each and score it in a couple subcategories. Big picture, this is an area where HubSpot only gets the edge slightly. Both CRMs offer excellent contact and account management. Zoho is extremely good. HubSpot is extremely good. They both offer contact records with custom fields and list segmentation and lead status options, which in HubSpot's case, you probably want to be using the sales workspace. But then over on Zoho, it's a little different, where they have leads that can be converted into contacts. And there's some pros and cons of doing it that way, but that's a pretty significant difference between Zoho and HubSpot. Both allow for basic blocking and tackling CRM features, allowing you to segment lists, keep track of contacts, and do account management. As far as pipeline management, here's that sales workspace. But under CRM and under deals, for pipeline management, they both offer Kanban style visual views and list views of your deals. In Zoho, HubSpot's also added that recently. All in all, they both offer really good deal and pipeline management features. Next, under multi-channel communication, this is where Zoho gets the edge clearly over HubSpot. Zoho offers a lot more, especially WhatsApp and SMS. That's stuff that you can do natively with Zoho, whereas HubSpot lacks that, although it's pretty easy to add, and there's a lot of great tools that allow you to still accomplish that same goal, but it's not going to come out of the box with HubSpot. I give Zoho the edge there. But then when it comes to sales automation, workflows in HubSpot, workflows in Zoho, in my opinion, you're not going to get a lot of that done in Zoho unless you have a Zoho expert, unless you have a dedicated CRM admin for Zoho to help you get that all going. You still might need that in HubSpot, but I've seen a lot of stuff done in HubSpot by someone who's just relatively tech savvy, can get in there and create sequences in HubSpot and get stuff done as far as sales automation, deal pipeline automation, and all that same stuff. Next up is the category with the biggest difference between Zoho and HubSpot. For ease of use and user experience, this is where Zoho really lags, although they've improved a lot. HubSpot, while it used to be the modern cutting edge platform, has started to also age a little bit. And there are some new CRMs that are AI first and more aesthetically pleasing than HubSpot. But since we're comparing Zoho and HubSpot, HubSpot clearly gets the win. Zoho's come a long way in making their UI not feel so busy. but there's just something about, because Zoho comes out of India and they do a good job, but it's only good. HubSpot has some great elements and overall allows people to get a lot further without needing a technical resource. Whereas Zoho, yes, you can maybe configure things a little bit more. There are some things in Zoho, if you have a good resource to help you with like field level rules and validation, that you can get done in Zoho that you may not even be able to get done in HubSpot. But out of the box, HubSpot may not be as flexible, but it's probably going to be more beautiful. And in the enterprise version of HubSpot, you're able to do more custom views for deals and contacts based on which team someone's in. They see a different view on their records. And you can even customize the middle section of HubSpot, which you didn't used to be able to do. HubSpot has also come a lot closer to maintaining that polished UI that's easier to use in general, but still having that power under the hood if you need it, if you're willing to upgrade to some of HubSpot's professional enterprise plans. But you're definitely going to get more out of the box for customization of the UI with Zoho. This is the biggest difference, but there are still reasons why you might choose Zoho. The learning curve is also more difficult in Zoho. Trying to figure this out is a little harder for people. Although you show them, they're pinned at, you show them if depending if you have Zoho 1 or not. One of the reasons you might choose Zoho is fantastic, how many things they offer. But you're going to have to guide people so they know where to go. And the learning curve is a little steeper. When it comes to the mobile app, I give HubSpot the edge. It's quick, it has great integration into your phone, and notifications are excellent. If you're trying to slide through all the different stages or something, like that's just the problems of having a small screen. But Zoho's app has improved a lot. It's more beautiful than it used to be, but tends to be a little more clunky and sluggish, but still gets the job done. Depending on how often your reps are on the road at a job site or a client site, the mobile app may not be that important to you. Being able to get contacts from their phone into the CRM and ability to do speech to text into their app on their phone to make notes, they both can do that. In that sense, they're pretty close. But as far as going that extra mile, I'm going to give HubSpot the win there. Moving on to implementation and onboarding. Initial setup. HubSpot right out of the box comes with some pretty sensible defaults. It's pretty easy to use. If you are starting HubSpot with a professional plan or hire, there's some onboarding that's often required. That's something I can help you with, or another provider like me. With Zoho, that's never required, although I would recommend it's probably even more important for Zoho to have a partner to help you get set up, just because it tends to be more difficult than HubSpot to get going. And so that is a pretty big difference between the two. HubSpot, you can get running so easy. Zoho has started like their CRM, the Begin CRM that Zoho offers. I generally just wouldn't recommend for any business with a sales team, because you're going to need to upgrade. It's not something you're going to stick with, but it's designed HubSpot as a free CRM, and then you end up upgrading, and that's their business model. Zoho started this tool, and they have a different name for it called Begin. It's a way that you can get going with the CRM really quickly. This is not the version of the CRM that I'm comparing here, but assuming you're just going in on regular Zoho CRM, it's not even close as easy as HubSpot. We talked a little bit of onboarding, support, and fees, training and resources. This is another clear area where HubSpot wins. The education and the knowledge base in Zoho has improved a lot. It's still not nearly as good as HubSpot Academy. HubSpot Academy is friendly. There's a lot in there now, but it's generally a lot better and easier to follow than Zoho. But you can see Zoho's, it's nice. It's clean. They have some videos. They get you going. They still get credit for putting a lot of effort into this, but it's just a little more cold and not quite as friendly as HubSpot's Academy. Here in the HubSpot Academy, they have some excellent courses that are only a couple hours long. They're very well produced, and they offer a certification that I would recommend all sales reps go through. At a minimum, you have someone in your company who's thoroughly gone through the HubSpot Academy for whichever tools that you're using, Sales Hub, Marketing Hub. So HubSpot gets a high score for its education and just helping people get up to speed and learning how to use the software. Next up, we're going to talk about AI and advanced automation. There's a lot of AI that's been integrated into almost every CRM, but Zoho and HubSpot have done a great job trying to integrate as much as possible. There still is a future where reps may not even need to log into a phone or a computer to update their CRM. They may just talk to an AI assistant and everything will work great, but we're not there yet. Zoho has a thing called Zia. In Zoho, you can ask Zia questions. Zia can also help you throughout the app to get things done. With Zia, for some of the tests that I've run, Zia's been able to create custom landing pages with custom automation, almost 100% correct the first time. I've tried to get HubSpot's Breeze to help me create automations, and I have never had it work. I've tried it a dozen times in HubSpot where I've said like basic prompts, like, help me create an ROI report for marketing or something. And it just doesn't even work. As far as the power of the AI integration, give them both a 9 there. And then a workflow automation, just advanced automation. So it's not AI, just advanced automation. They both have extremely deep automation capabilities. HubSpot started as a marketing platform, so their marketing automation tools are easier to use and used to be better than Zoho. If you're going to do marketing automation with Zoho, you're going to have to add another tool. Maybe you end up looking at Zoho One. It's going to have almost all of the same things, like any of the same things you're going to want to accomplish with list segmentation, or you want to dynamically adjust content based on the list segmentation. You're going to be able to do that in both. But some of the business process automation stuff is going to be a little better in Zoho. If you're trying to enforce field level rules or validation, or you want to do dialog boxes that come up that are custom to your business in Zoho, you're going to be able to do that. HubSpot keeps moving forward towards being able to do some of that. But as far as building out a custom app interface, workflow, or user dialogue where you're working through a complex business process, Zoho is definitely better on that side. Business process automation lends to one of the main reasons why, even though generally HubSpot is accepted as easier to use, when you dive all in on Zoho and go Zoho One, and you're able to have all the different applications that Zoho offers, you can build your entire business on one application, then you're getting a lot of business process benefits out of Zoho. Some of these things deal with it looking a little more clunky, but it is better to have all these apps integrated in a custom canvas within Zoho compared to HubSpot, which is a little more out of the box. I'm going to give Zoho a win here on workflow automation. Moving ahead to customization and scalability, the data model, Zoho is infinitely flexible. HubSpot can do that too, but we didn't give it a 9 like Zoho because HubSpot, you can do custom objects, but you have to have enterprise. For a lot of the clients I've seen with sales teams between 5 and 25 people, they're not willing to spend what it costs to get HubSpot enterprise for their team. So in practice, HubSpot offers custom objects. It's not available to many clients. Whereas Zoho, that is just the way Zoho is, high in customization. So we give Zoho the win there. And then scalability for growth, it depends how you define scalability. So if scalability is the ability to have, as your company grows, the software is going to be able to grow with you. You're not going to have to move off to some custom thing or to Salesforce. They both will do that. Most people love HubSpot. They just don't love how you end up, sometimes there's just little features, like you want calculated properties, or you want some little thing to allow your workflow automation in HubSpot to work, but you don't have enterprise. And now you're looking at double the price of what you're paying, and can you get your CFO to approve that? That's where I'm going to give scalability for growth just a slight edge to Zoho. Next up, integrations in the ecosystem. Third-party integrations. This is something less important for Zoho because Zoho almost is like a marketplace by itself because it has everything. So you go through the Zoho apps suite and they have 45 different apps. They cover, you can do your bookkeeping, you can do your HR. You can even have, instead of having Zoom or Microsoft Teams, you can have them in one place with Zoho. Regardless, both of them also have a marketplace and have over 1,000 different apps that you can use. You can click through to install them. In Zoho, they call them extensions. Over in HubSpot, their app marketplace has over 1,800 apps. The marketplaces are both robust, and you're going to have a lot of options for third-party integrations. Where they differ is in the native applications. HubSpot has a lot available, and their hub model, where they have Marketing Hub, Sales Hub, Service Hub, Content Hub, Operations Hub, and Commerce Hub, offering a lot all natively, all within HubSpot. That is something that is changed a lot in the past few years, but it's still not going to come close to Zoho. Zoho has the most apps of any platform out there. There might be a couple, maybe Odoo or some other platforms have that same level of offering. HubSpot also has started adding tools like this native CPQ app or native event management for HubSpot, where they're owned by HubSpot. It's part of the ecosystem. It's native in the sense that it is officially produced and supported by HubSpot. PandaDoc is also another. HubSpot is a investor in PandaDoc. So HubSpot is putting a lot of effort into making sure that everything you need has a high quality option within the HubSpot ecosystem. Zoho has 45 apps that maybe they're not all the best in class, but the fact that they all work together and they're all on one platform and they're affordable is very impressive. If you go to the Zoho website and you look at all of the apps that are available, it is incredible. Scanning through this list of tools across every area of your business, these can all talk to each other. They're all in one place. They're all affordable in a Zoho One contract. You can look at the pricing real quick. Zoho One, if you purchase it for every person in your company, it's only $37 a month. And it includes all of those applications. For that reason, I'm going to give Zoho the edge here for integrations and ecosystem, which is mostly based on Zoho One has over 45 native business apps. All right, next up, viability and popularity. This is an area where HubSpot clearly wins. For most business people, if you are in CRM at all, you've heard of HubSpot, you're probably familiar with it, or you've at least heard their advertisements. HubSpot is impossible not to come across. But Zoho can fly a little more under the radar, at least in the United States. It's still an extremely popular platform. It's just not as large as HubSpot, but Zoho is profitable. It's not going anywhere. HubSpot is just a lot larger and publicly traded. So HubSpot's going to get the edge for market momentum, but Zoho isn't going anywhere anytime soon either. Pricing. So this is an area where Zoho wins hands down. So we talked about their free CRM options, the begin option with Zoho, the free CRM with HubSpot, but neither one of those are going to work. If you have a sales team and you're trying to do anything above just the minimum level of CRM functionality, the free CRMs might work, but once you start upgrading, the pricing for HubSpot is going to be more expensive. The starter plan is pretty generous with HubSpot. HubSpot can get a bad rap for being expensive on the higher end for their enterprise plans. But at that point, so much of your business is going to be relying on this software that from a value perspective, I still think HubSpot's a very good value. Almost always Zoho is going to be less expensive. But you have to keep in mind that you might be able to get some of your existing resources to help you do some pretty cool stuff with HubSpot. Zoho, I see a lot fewer companies able to get their internal resources to successfully get them everything they want out of Zoho. So yeah, you pay for it either way, right? You're going to pay for it and maybe you got to have a little more resources to get Zoho going. Although a lot of people need that for HubSpot too. This is going to take you a little more time to get some of the stuff done because the UI, UX, the user experience in Zoho is just going to be a little more difficult, but you're also going to trade that off for a little more power. Zoho is a very powerful platform, especially the CRM. That's Zoho's bread and butter right there is CRM. If you think about the transparency and the pricing, Zoho is just going to win. HubSpot, you end up with so many different levels of tiers and different seats for different hubs. If you want someone to run sequences, they have to have a sales pro seat. That's one of the most common ones I deal with. It's a good value, but it's not going to be as transparent. It's not going to be as easy with pricing. Next, let's talk about analytics and reporting. Zoho has excellent reporting. and so does HubSpot. I'm going to give HubSpot a slight edge here because it's easier to use. Most people I can see picking up some of HubSpot's dashboards, reporting. I've seen a lot of executives go into HubSpot dashboards and play with them, whereas I have never seen that in Zoho. You got to have your guy go into Zoho and get that cleaned up for you. Zoho's dashboards and reporting have become beautiful. In some ways, Zoho has more features, more ability to do business intelligence, like a full-blown dashboard that it can pull in lots of different things from across your business and across the entire Zoho product suite. HubSpot, you can do almost anything as well, but it's just built around what HubSpot is for, which is a narrower scope than Zoho if you're looking at big picture like Zoho One. But just CRM and practically getting insights out of the software, I'm going to give HubSpot the edge because of ease of use. Zoho, you can build lots of beautiful dashboards, and HubSpot, of course, you can do that as well. Just the simplicity. One of the things I love is that you can have reports emailed out really easily, and they're so easy to build and send out. So I'm going to give HubSpot a slight edge there for reporting. Next, talking about the completeness of vision. You're setting up your entire business, or at least your entire sales function. It's critical for revenue, this type of software. And so where is it going? As far as the product goes, HubSpot has a more opinionated view on what their software should be like. And that leads to user experience, user interface, usability, and ease of use benefits. Zoho is an entire operating system full of 45 different apps. My personal view is that Zoho is going to continue to kind of be seen as not really best in class, hardly anything, but it's going to be able to do a lot and be a very good utility for a lot of businesses. But HubSpot's always going to have a little bit more of that polish because it has a more opinionated view on how sales and marketing should be done. And so HubSpot gets the edge there because of a stronger strategy as opposed to just we do everything. That is each of the categories. Sometimes HubSpot wins in some of these categories, sometimes Zoho wins, and that just shows how close they are. When you look at the big picture from the CRM coach scorecard perspective, Zoho gets a 8.3, HubSpot gets a 8.9. One of the things I'd recommend is to take this free revenue type priorities assessment. It's on crm.coach/assessment. You'll walk through 5 key areas. If something isn't relevant, you can leave it blank, but it'll help you narrow in on what is most important from a challenge and a priority perspective when it comes to revenue that's not as software or technical in nature as far as like what the software is that you're using, and more like what is it you're trying to accomplish, where is it that you want your team to go, what is it your team is struggling with, and that will kind of help you make this decision as well. Remember, whether you choose the polish and the ease of use of HubSpot or the flexibility and we can do everything across your entire business as an operating system, although the CRM is very powerful in Zoho, whichever one you choose, just remember that it's really about what you can commit to over the long term and that your team will use and that you can reinforce and that it will drive the right behavior that will get you the results that you want for your team. And it isn't just something that you have to fight with. If you would like to see more of these types of CRM platform reviews, please subscribe, or also be covering some CRM tips and trainings in the future as well. And don't forget to check out the Revenue Top Priorities Assessment to help you in this journey. And thanks for watching.